Welcome to ARW. Now, I'm sure none of you really care what an old geezer does when there's no ARW discussion, but I felt compelled to tell you anyway. So, got up this morning, the boss lady made me go to church with her. After we got Mexican food, and she said, "Well, I guess you got to get home to do your live stream." I told her, "No, I already told you 3 times that we're not doing it anymore, today." And she said, "Oh, well, I didn't know. Well, in that case, let's go riding around." So we went to Galveston. And while I was there, this is commonly known to us folks in the 2A community as a brick. It's a brick of 22 shells. And while we were in Galveston, the boss lady said she needed to use the little girl's room. And so I said, "Well, there's an academy. I bet they got a good one." So I whipped in there, and she said, "You're not fooling me none." She said, "You're going to go there and look at the bullets." I said, "Well, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that. And so I did. And believe it or not, they had 3 boxes of these suckers. Now, they cost me 8 cents a round. That's almost twice what I used to pay for them. And before the shortage, I wouldn't have bought these Thunderbolts. I had a different name for them. But in as much as I could get 3 boxes, I did. I'd have got 4 if they didn't have any more. Uh, anyway, so we took a little tour of Galveston, and I made some video. And there's no one video that's going to take care of Galveston. Back when I was doing my 360-degree camera, there was a big biker event going on down there. So I went down there to see what all the motorcycle boys were up to, and they used a 360-degree camera. And I used it a few times, and viewers kept complaining it doesn't work on my computer. It doesn't look like anything. I can't see nothing. So I quit using it. It's over there on the extra desk. And but anyway, I showed that little part that was on the seawall. But there's several parts of Galveston. You've got the docks part of Galveston. You've got the Strand where they do Mardi Gras and stuff like that. That's the tourist part. You got the beach, which is another tourist part, all up and down the Seawall Boulevard and all that. Then you got the residential part of Galveston, where everybody lives, and you've got that sort of out in the country Galveston. They're down toward the end of the island, going from the East Beach down. There's a lot of little communities down there before you get to the end of Galveston. Now, there used to be a cattle ranch down there, but I guess they sold all the cows, and maybe they sold all the land. Who knows? But there's a lot of little communities. There's townhouses popping up all the way down to San Luis Pass. And so I didn't do the video all the way to San Luis Pass, because I could have. Now, that's another part of Galveston, the beach house part, and there's the San Luis Pass part. But those are to be saved for a future video. But I did show you the docks and just a little bit of the seawall. And so I guess that I'll go ahead and start the video. And maybe it'll be interesting to you, and maybe not. But we're going to take a look at Galveston Island. There's some cruise ships and that sort of thing. All right. This is Galveston down near the docks. There's ships to the right, loading cranes and stuff, and I guess warehouses. It's the medical center down here too, UTMB, which is University of Texas Medical Branch. Ships are back there where the docks are at.
That's the cars.
And back behind the hospital buildings and such is the port, part of the port. Up here there's a great big forklift for handling those big boxes, cargo boxes, containers, whatever. And there's a couple of cruise ships up here. Very impressive forklift though. loading and unloading facilities. There's Port of Galveston. A lot of warehouses and stuff along the side of the road, hotels, beer joints and stuff. This is the historic downtown. Right there's the big old forklift right there. I saw him coming along here. Pretty impressive. I don't know what kind of an incinerator that is, but they got a nice stack. Pretty short though. Now here we go. Cruise ships are available again. And here's the cruise ships. This is where they load them up. And it's too bad if I'm not holding the camera still, but the road's kind of bouncy. That one's Carnival Dream, it says on the side of it. I saw that front part where it looks like hanging out over the edge from the other direction, and I couldn't figure out what it was, but there we go. I guess these people are showing up to take a cruise. Those ships are big. I don't know how they keep getting blown over in a storm. Turn ourselves around somewhere and go the other way.
The Liberty Seas. There.
This is parking for the cruise ship. If you're going to go on a cruise, you got to park somewhere. And there's one big old boat. I guess I'm not allowed to call it a boat. I got to call it a cruise ship. Liberty of the Seas. Parking.
See, it's the Liberty of the Seas.
It's a big ship. We'll be down here a little bit by the Strand. This is where they do all the partying around, and I guess, you know, during Mardi Gras and stuff like that. That's the Carnival Dream. We saw that going the other direction. I was too close to the oleanders to get much of a shot of it. So that part got cut out of the video. This is historic downtown. We'll turn right on Rosenberg Avenue to see what there is to see. That cruise terminal says built in 1927. No doubt it was. All right. This is the old part of downtown Galveston. Usual bunch of tourist stuff. Sorry about the bouncing camera. That was a rough spot in the road.
Stop.
There's the historic Moody Bank over there. The Moody family was rich people here in Galveston. I guess they still are pretty rich. They owned all the cotton compresses, or a lot of them, that were along the street coming in towards the seawall. There used to be about a mile of their warehouse buildings there that were used for storing cotton until they could load it on the ships. Cotton having been king in Texas for a while. My father raised cotton, grain, and even peanuts one year. But the peanuts didn't sell. The bottom went out of the market, and he baled them all up and fed them to the cows. It was fun though, being a little kid, walk out to the barn and dig yourself a few peanuts out of the side of a bale of hay. They weren't roasted, but they were good. Okay, we're gonna come up to what I always refer to as the main drag in Galveston. This goes to the down to the beach, to the seawall. When we actually, it does when we turn left. I hope that the track with the trolley is empty. We're on the trolley track right now. Got my tang tangled, but nevertheless, I don't want the trolley to come along while I'm here. Historic old homes. And
That you can take tours.
I think up ahead is the Bishop's Palace. It wasn't really the Bishop's, and it wasn't really a palace, but it got called that.
You can take tours in these buildings.
Yes, the boss lady reminded me you can take tours of all these old houses, old mansions, stuff that belonged to the rich and famous of another century. One of the houses up here was one of the first ones in Galveston to have electricity. You can see the old breaker boxes, mostly just a board with some fuses screwed into it. There's one of the historic houses right there. I don't know which one it is. Now we're coming to the bigger stuff, the bigger houses, the Bishop's Palace and such as that. You had to be kind of rich to live in some of these places. I've been in that one. Walked around, saw all of it. That's the Bishop's Palace. I believe this one actually is part of a church here. Maybe it's where the real bishop is at. But there's a lot of big old houses. These things have been here for more than 100 years. They lived through a lot of hurricanes. Car doesn't like the fact that I crossed a white line. This is the beach. This is where it's at. We're not going to get on it. We're going to drive along it though. I got to turn here. They kill us all driving like this. There's the water. And here we go. This is Seawall Boulevard, I believe is the name of it. And that's because there's a seawall here. Raised the island up 16 feet. And that's because of the, I think, 1909 hurricane that killed a whole bunch of people. I think it's 4,000 or 5,000 people drowned or came up missing. Way after there's some ships, I don't know if they show in the video, but way out there there's a whole line of ships. I guess they're coming or going, one or the other, maybe both. That looks like fun. Those little four-wheelers you can rent to drive around Galveston. And there's a few folks down there on the beach, not many. I guess tourist season's over. And there you go. Lots of water, small waves. No good for surf. Surfers have to go to Hawaii or California or someplace else. I understand when there's a hurricane that surfing actually exists here. This is the end of Galveston Island. There's a bridge that goes over Sandoy Pass. And there's a lot of heavy undercurrents in Sandoy Pass. You could get washed out to sea if you get out too far out in the water. But that's what we got at the end of Galveston, so that's the end of the video. Well, it seems that Bubba and Cooter, was out hunting, and they're walking along, and they come on this big old hole in the ground, and they walk up and look inside of it, and they was amazed at the size of that hole, And Cooter says, "Wow, that's some hole. I can't even see the bottom. I wonder how deep it is, And Bubba says, "Well, I don't know." He says, "I'll throw something down in there and we'll see how long it takes to hit the bottom." So Bubba throws a rock in there and they don't ever hear nothing, So they look around. Bubba says, "Hey, here's an old pickup truck transmission." He says, "Give me a hand and we'll throw it in. We're bound to hear that hit the bottom." So they pick it up and drag it over the hole and throw it in there. And in just a few seconds, here comes a goat. Big old goat crashing through the brush, comes tearing up there, right up to the edge of the hole. Don't hesitate a bit. Jumps in head first. And they're looking over the edge there, thinking about it, and they don't know what to think. This goat jumping in the hole right in behind them. And so here they look up, and here comes this farmer. And he says, "Hey," he says, "you rednecks there," he says, "have you seen my goat?" And Bubba says, "Yeah." He says, "Just a minute ago, a big old goat come running out of the bushes there and jumped right down in this hole here." The farmer says, "That's impossible." He says, "I had him chained to a pickup truck transmission." Well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't.